I've been covering too many sad subjects for most of these Oxygen Not Included series. So I wanted to talk about something a lot more jollier. So for a while I've been thinking about doing a video with Max talking about what we used to do when we were kids, because there's a lot of memories to cover. There's a lot of events that took place, if that's the right word, that we both laugh about, but we did kinda, almost endanger our lives. But maybe I'll save that till next time. Sorry, I got food in my mouth. Specifically cookies. But I'm just very skilled when it comes to, discussing stuff that is sad. It comes natural to me. When it comes to stuff like happy things, like I enjoy it when it happens in the moment, and then I guess I don't tend to focus on that. Maybe that's something that I should fix. Maybe that might actually fix my depression. Who knows? Exactly, who knows? But the things that comes, I guess, naturally to us when it comes to memory is the stuff that made us stress, right? Stuff that made us angry, stuff that made us, sad, frustrated, and happiness is very relieving. I'm just trying to see what I could talk about. Fucking hell. Everything I note down is some serious shit or sad stuff. Oh, that's something. I want to talk about using 100% of yourself in paying attention to what or who you care about. That could also be connected to the other depressing stuff that I wanted to talk about. Alright, let's go. So I was talking to an individual several days ago. Several months ago even. A huge difference. And I guess she was trying to divide herself between, I guess, my streams and her friend groups. She was trying to tune in while she hangs out with her friends, and to me that's an impossible task. I like to put my entire focus on this one thing that I'm trying to do, but mostly because I feel like splitting yourself apart like that causes unnecessary stress, and at the same time it's an invitation for you to start missing out on things, like the moments that you're currently living through right now, where I don't want to get too philosophical. It's just I want people to focus on what is happening around them, so that any good moments that you could have experienced, you didn't miss it at all, if that makes sense. So of course I appreciate people who made it to the stream and talks to me, etc., but even more than that, I think opportunities that rarely come to you, or stuff that you've organized in advance that you've been meaning to do, like hanging out with your friends, for example. If it's something that's spontaneous and it just so happened, and if you don't take it, then maybe you don't know when the next time is going to be. In that situation, I'd like you to take the opportunity to, I guess, live in that moment. Rather than being greedy and splitting yourself apart, there's so many different tasks, there's so many different responsibilities, so many different people, especially people. When it comes to people, I personally would like to spend time with people one by one, if that makes sense. Meaning, I don't tend to hang out in groups. I think the maximum number that I've ever hung out with a friend would be 3. I never went over that, I think. If it was more than that, I usually try my best to refuse. And if I can't refuse it, then obviously what can you do? But even in a group of 3, I usually end up being the quiet one because I like to listen to what both sides is saying. I don't know, I cherish my time with friends, and I feel like there's so many little nuggets of moments that I can pick up and, remember later on, feeling like, I'm glad that I was paying attention. Not everybody's lucky to have, people that I hang out with. I'm not trying to brag about my friends, but I do hang out with the funniest people, and I don't know. I don't want to miss a second of it. That goes with love. That goes with relationships. That goes with friendships. I want the other person to experience 100% of me. I think that's very respectful. I think that's very meaningful for both sides, myself and the other person. I don't want to go over the same point over and over again, but I encourage people to exercise focus on whatever that they do. Yeah, it doesn't really matter what. It's like when you're having a nice meal, I want you to chew as much as you can, Savor that flavor. It's just the same. And it's also good to understand your own priorities as well. Like some people might have this, I guess, not addiction, but more like motivation to play more games, right? Like whether it be, Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Fortnite, etc. Especially when it comes to competitive games, something that you can't pause and you just have to keep playing because you're in that rush. It feels so rewarding to participate in a group activity, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but it's all skill based. And we're all chasing that high, that feel that you get when you feel like you're better than everybody else. That's great and all, but how important is that to you at the end of the day? Like, I don't want to be that guy, right? I don't want to be that guy who says, playing game is a waste of time. I'm a gamer too. I'm literally playing a game right now, and this literally is a waste of time. Me playing this game is a waste of time. The reason why I'm still playing and recording video is because I can't stop playing. So I'm a big hypocrite, but at the same time. Oh no, I just realized I'm gonna sound like an addict with the next sentence that I was gonna say. Anyways, I was gonna say, I know when to stop. I do. I actually do know when to stop. So when Jelly comes home, or when it comes to time of streaming, or when it comes to work. Actually, no, I don't play games before I work. So this never happens before working. But yeah, when I come home, I turn on the computer. I sound like a boomer now. I activate the game, run the game. What do kids say these days? And then I just, specifically this game anyway. I just play and zone out. I watch all these little people follow strictly to my instructions. It makes me feel like I'm in control. That's why I like this game so much. I love this game to bits. It feels like nothing falls out of line. If there's a problem, it's definitely my fault for not looking out. And I just look at how much work I've done so far, and I'm satisfied just being here when it happens. And I guess that's enough for me to get the dopamine I need. But of course, this doesn't pay the bills. This is not the very thing that feeds me. So obviously, this is just like a side thing, like a relaxation thing that I'm somewhat addicted to. This is not what eats away at my life, but I love doing it. And I understand people who, I guess, just can't stop playing. And I don't see anything toxic about that unless it is ruining your life. I'm going on too long about this actually. But most of my day, I do spend time in front of the computer, and that's usually my me time. That's usually when I'm alone. Like right now, Jelly's my wife. She's working, and yeah, she's gonna come back soon. But until then, I'm just gonna enjoy my leisure. Just watch these little people work. And while she's home, I'm gonna let these little workers, work on the errands that I've set them, and then they're just gonna keep working, and I feel good about it. But when Jelly's here, there is no gaming. When Jelly's here, there's also no streaming either. I don't like to stream when she's around. Or I try to fit it to a schedule where it doesn't really I try to make it so that it's not too invasive to our private time, our quality time, because once I let whatever I'm doing here get in the way of our relationship, then obviously I have my priorities fucked up. Nothing can replace the love and trust that Jelly offers. But more importantly, and this is the bone of the whole conversation, okay? I think ahead. I think about how she sees me, and I think about what I do for her. I try to think about that often, because sometimes when you feel like you've done more than the other person, it may not be true. And I don't know what's a nicer way to say that, because sometimes you don't really wake up to the fact that the other person's doing more than you have, and when you don't, it becomes a very, very big problem. Not with that person, but with yourself as well, because eventually that's going to corrode into your thoughts on the other person. Not being able to see the situation correctly, maybe you start blaming things on them, when in reality, maybe you've been worse in this relationship. I worry about that a lot. I worry every so often that maybe I'm not doing enough in the relationship, and it's not good to always worry about things, but at the same time, it helps me stay grounded when it comes to my perspective on my own marriage that I'm in right now. I love her, and I think about what she experiences as well, living with me, and with the way that I spend my day, sitting in front of the computer, working on whatever I'm working on, whether it be, recording stuff like this right now, or, streaming in front of people, or maybe gaming, or talking to another person online, etc., etc. The more I do that, I worry that I guess, leaves this permanent, not imprint, that's not the word. I don't want her to look back and remember me as this guy who always sits in front of the computer with my back turned against her. When she thinks about me, I want her to remember as this person who is always facing her, who's always talking to her, who's always listening, but mostly because she does the same for me too. And it just feels so unfair when it seems like I'm always the person who is occupied in the relationship, and I'm not giving enough time to the person who I should be treating them as a significant other. So when I'm talking about priorities, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like giving 100% of yourself to the other person who you care about. It doesn't matter if it's a person who you're in a relationship with, or even friendship too. I feel like we could all use that in friendships, because for some reason we have a strange way of connecting with people now where like everything just feels so temporary. I've never had that with my best friend Max or Jelly, or anybody that I felt like I would never want to lose this person. But you don't really wake up to that until you start looking at them and focusing in on what they do for you, and you'll never realize that unless you do focus. That's why I want to encourage people to focus more on the people that they're talking to. Oh god, I'm rambling so much. I missed a day of stream. I was gonna talk about this at the end of the video, so I'm gonna leave it alone for now. But I feel like this is the recoil. When I start talking after I miss a stream, this is what happens. I talk a lot. But yeah, in summary, I want to encourage people to place their 100% focus on the things that they do more often, especially when it comes to, relationships, human interactions, rather than being distracted all the time, dividing yourself onto like several tasks at once. Unless you got like ADHD and that's just the way you function. Some people function better when they're doing something at the same time as them doing something else that is like demanding attention. Well, this is what worked for me anyway. What am I even talking about anymore? And this was also to talk about how I want my wife to remember me not with my back turned against her, not spending time with her, because I like to think ahead, and when it comes to our end time, if I'm the first to go, I want her to remember my face and not my back. And that is the end of the video. Thanks for listening. So I did miss one scheduled stream, which was supposed to be on Monday. I had gastro. I had some serious food poisoning fever happening, but I'm feeling all better now. The next stream that is scheduled is on Friday, so I'll be seeing some of you guys on Friday. That's right, I said some of you guys, not girls, men only. Just kidding, all is welcome because I'm desperate. If you're new to watching my videos, thank you very much for watching, first of all. Second of all, I'd like you to check out any of the links underneath below, especially the Discord server. Everybody's warm there. Please check us out. Why is this damaged? What's going on? Conductive wires overloading. Why? Please like and subscribe to support the channel if you can. Other than that, don't die, stay alive. I'll catch you in the next video.